So Miss World, basically, by just her physical presence in Kashmir, taking part in all of the things that tourists love and enjoy doing in Kashmir, has signaled to India, to the world, to Pakistan, to POK, to everyone, who happens to think that they are a stakeholder or an opinion maker when it comes to India and Kashmir, stands completely exposed, stands completely silenced, because their hypocrisy has been put on full display. What Miss Karolina has basically done by staying there is put all of these Rondus and Rudalis on notice. These are people whose own narrative, whose own existence completely only depends on conflict in Kashmir. And therefore, seeing a beauty queen, a pageant winner, enjoying herself in Kashmir is a direct threat to their existence, their narrative, and their sense of power. Two global women on two sides of the line of control. One yesterday and one just over a year ago, viewer. It's a story you need to watch because in my view, it's the very picture of hypocrisy, dishonesty, manipulation, propaganda, and plain 2023 shamelessness. On the left is Miss World Karolina Bielawska, who just spent a whole day in Srinagar, the capital of Jammu and Kashmir, and said she is mind blown by its beauty and the hospitality of the people there. On the right of your screen is American Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who accepted a free Pakistan-funded trip to Pakistan-occupied Kashmir just over a year ago, where she made totally positive noises about the Pakistan government and POK. She didn't spend a penny on that particular trip, as has recently been embarrassingly revealed by US Congress financial records. Miss World Karolina Bielawska says she cannot wait to welcome 140 nations and all her friends and family to bring them to India later this year to show them places like Kashmir when the next Miss World pageant happens later this year. Ilhan Omar, on the other hand, after her Pakistan-funded joyride to POK, returned to the US and immediately moved a US Congress resolution attempting to call attention to alleged human rights violations in Jammu and Kashmir. Not then and not since then has Ilhan Omar said a single word about the nearly daily human rights violations against Shia Muslims, Ahmadiyas, Hindus, Christians, Sikhs, or the latest spate of child abuse cases in the country, or the latest revolt and allegations of genocide by the Shia Muslim community in POK, saying that the Pakistan government is trying to reduce their numbers and finish them off. Not a word from Ilhan Omar. Meanwhile, Miss World Karolina spent her day enjoying Kashmiri food, taking a boat ride on the Dal Lake, and becoming the centerpiece of images showcasing how the Kashmir Valley has broken all previous tourism records in 2022-23, far exceeding the average of the previous 40 years. Ilhan Omar, meanwhile, spent her day in April last year shaking hands with Pakistan's Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif and Pakistan-appointed politicians in POK. Shahbaz Sharif, remember, who has single-handedly presided over the historic collapse of his nation, pushing it into a state of near civil war, a situation that continues now with the tanking of the Pakistani rupee, riots for essential items like wheat, and a population that is itself continuously praising India. Ilhan Omar doesn't have one word for any of that. Miss World Karolina Bielawska, meanwhile, was obviously there as part of her pageant's outreach protocol and public relations, but it was clear she loved every moment of her time in Srinagar. Just look at these pictures. You can't fake that. And who wouldn't? 1.2 lakh tourists visited Kashmir in February this year, the highest ever monthly figure. Ilhan Omar, meanwhile, has had her finger on her lips as churches and the homes of Christians in Pakistan were recently attacked and burnt down by angry religious mobs following the alleged burning of a Quran in that country. Ilhan Omar has not said one single word. That is the level of shamelessness. Miss World Karolina becomes, whether you like it or not, a face of normalcy, peace, prosperity, and fun in Kashmir, something the people there crave. Her promise of bringing her friends and family back will serve as an invitation to people the world over, telling them that Kashmir is waiting to welcome them, has lovely hotels, hill stations, restaurants, and some of the warmest people in the world. Meanwhile, Ilhan Omar must be stewing in her catastrophically embarrassing choice of siding with Pakistan and POK's leaders while taking pot shots at India. While every possible index of security shows clearly that Kashmir is visibly and quantifiably safer since the abrogation of Article 370, Pakistan and POK, which Ilhan enjoyed a fully sponsored trip to, have never been more poor, more dangerous, and more on the edge of total collapse. Two global women on two sides of the line of control. You decide.